Yeah, I was just looking at that. Yep.
Okay, hi Vani, what's up? I think we are live and I think we are audible. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you? Am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yeah, you are. I'm just
Good.
taking my phone now. सही है. Hi Aman, hi Kayu, thanks for joining. So वानी आज हम क्या करने वाले हैं? Sorry for like starting the stream late, guys. आजकल कल हम इंडिपेंडेंस डे की तैयारी कर रहे थे. वो कल नहीं है, तुमने झूठ बोला, परसों है.
Well, I have celebrations
कल तो
in my
पाकिस्तान
office.
का है.
I have celebrations in my office.
ओके, आई एम सो
Yeah.
सॉरी. मेरा ये नेट बार बार जा रहा है. 1 सेकेंड में मेरा नेट नहीं जा रहा था एक बार. आई विल पुट यू ऑन स्पॉटलाइट, नॉट पीपल विल सी यू देयर.
Cool.
वेयर इज द स्पॉट? हाँ, ठीक है. तब तक मैं मेरा ऑडियो ठीक कर रहा हूँ. सो टेल अस व्हाट वील बी डूइंग टुडे.
So, I don't know how many of you have heard about Philip K. Dick. He was an American writer and he was known for his work in science fiction. So he's written a lot of novels. I think one of the most famous ones is Do an Androids Dream of Sheep or the other way around. Yep. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And even like The Man in the High Castle, Flow My Tears, The Policeman Said, and so on. So we picked up one of his short stories, which is The Eyes Have It, which is another, it's extremely short story, and it's a sci-fi story. And it's about a man who has come to believe that aliens have invaded the earth. And yeah,
Nice.
that's about it.
So, hi to everyone who just joined us. Saurabh, Nair, Shahrukh, Kalingal, एक लास्ट बियर. इंटरेस्टिंग यूजर है. अभिनव पाठक, अमन वर्मा. ठीक है, तो मैं अपनी स्क्रीन शेयर करता हूँ गाइस. एंड हम जो आज
We'll
शॉर्ट स्टोरी पढ़ने वाले हैं, मैं वानी को ना ऐसे करता हूँ. तो मैंने एक नई नई स्ट्रीमिंग की चीज़ सीखी है तन्मय को देख के. सो आई वोंट बी विजिबल फॉर यू ऑन द स्क्रीन वानी, बट आई विल बी विजिबल अदरवाइज. आई एटलीस्ट मेरा ये मानना है. आऊँगा मैं 2 सेकंड में. फ़ोन में तो एटलीस्ट आना चाहिए. हाँ, नाउ आई एम विजिबल. सो आई विल पुट यू हियर. 1 सेकंड. हाँ जी. सो guys, we are reading The Eyes Have It by Philip K. Dick.
yes,
And ये 1953 में लिखी थी.
yes. I think he passed away in 1980 something.
Okay.
And yeah,
एक बार लोगों को शक्ल दिखाते हैं फिलिप के डिक की.
he also won the Hugo. He has won the Hugo Award for the best novel for The Man in High Castle.
Okay.
Yep. and he's won a lot of awards for his contribution to science fiction. So he's won the Hugo Award.
Oh fuck, he has also written a Scanner Darkly.
Yep.
Dude, Richard Linklater made a film on a Scanner Darkly. I did not know it was based on a book. Oh. First he had my curiosity, now he has my attention. Okay, so let's get back to this. Guys, I'm gonna audible or visible hai na? Tayyab is also in the comments. Tayyab, do you want to join us? Shall we send the link to Tayyab also? Let's also have him. Oh shit,
Yes.
मैं मेरा वो कर देता हूँ वीडियो फुल फ्रेम लोग ने जो चैट्स देख लेते हैं हाँ आई जस्ट होप अभी मेरी चैट्स विजिबल ना हो
They still are to me.
नहीं है ना नहीं मतलब वीडियो अपने फ़ोन में देखो
Cool.
फ़ोन में तो मेरी फुल फ्रेम आनी चाहिए
Yeah.
या सो आई एम एडिंग तैयब
Great.
आई एम जस्ट सेंडिंग हिम द लिंक उसका मन हुआ तो आ जाएगा एंड वील गो बैक टू स्ट्रीम चलो गाइस स्टार्ट करते हैं So The Eyes Have It is a Dick's clever sci-fi full of idioms and puns featured. Okay, so I'm very bad with idioms and puns, so Vani, you will have to come to the rescue. And featured in our collection of 75 short stories. You may also enjoy our science fiction guide and dystopian stories. Yeah. Sorry, मुझे लगा मेरा audio चला गया. Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Okay. A little whimsy now and then makes for good balance. Theoretically, you could find this type of humor anywhere. But only a top flight science fictionist, we thought, could have written this story in just this way. So, this is a description about the story. It was quite by accident I discovered this incredible invasion of Earth by life forms from another planet. As yet, I haven't done anything about it. I can't think of anything to do. I wrote to the government and they sent back a pamphlet on the repair and maintenance of frame houses. Anyhow, the whole thing is known. I'm not the first to discover it. Maybe it's even under control. I was sitting in my easy chair, idly turning the pages of a paper-backed book someone had left on the bus, when I came across the reference that first put me on the trail. For a moment, I didn't respond. It took some time for the full import to sink in. After I had comprehended, it seemed odd I hadn't noticed it right away. So, abhi tak he's just telling. Are you following? Shall I?
No, please explain, dude. Like it always helps.
So, abhi tak he's just realized. So he lives on the Earth, and he's realized that Earth has been invaded by aliens. So he has written to the government, but they haven't replied anything that was sort of something that was convincing enough. So he thought maybe I'm not the first one to know it, and it's under control. So now he has started to tell how he actually realized that they have been invaded. The reference was clearly to a non-human species of incredible properties, not indigenous to Earth. A species, I hasten to point out, customarily masquerading as ordinary human beings. Their disguise, however, became transparent in the face of the following observations by the author. It was at once obvious the author knew everything, and was taking it in his stride. The line, and I tremble remembering it even now, read, his eyes slowly roved about the room.
Okay, what happened in this one, this para?
He's come, can you just scroll thoda sa upar? Thoda sa upar. Yeah. So here he was going through a book that someone had left on the bus where he came across a particular text, I believe. So he's now talking about that text. So this reference, he says, was clearly pointing, this reference was to someone who is not of Earth. And he believes that it was somebody who was not an ordinary human being. And they perhaps knew everything. And this is the line that made him tremble. His eyes slowly roved about the room.
Okay. ठीक है.
So he's going to list down a few observations, I believe, now for us to figure out the same thing.
Tayyab is also here. I'll quickly add him.
Yep.
मेरे को लगा था तैयब को कल कोरोना हो गया, so I don't know. One second. Hi तैयब, क्या हालचाल?
हेलो.
हाँ. यो. So तैयब अभी बातें बाद में करेंगे, अभी स्टोरी कंटिन्यू करते हैं. और do you want to
Yeah,
add anything about the story? Have you
I
read the
have no
story?
idea. नहीं.
फिलिप
I
की
know
डिक का
about
वैसे तेरे को पता
फिलिप
होगा.
के डिक तो पता है, काफी स्टोरीज पढ़ी हैं, but the eyes have it. No, I haven't heard
हाँ.
about it this
So
time.
Vani, give him a summary of everything that has happened until now.
So until now, we know that. Can you move to the first paragraph? So sorry.
No.
So he has the narrator has discovered that Earth has been invaded by aliens, and he has written to the government, but they sent back a pamphlet which probably told him that perhaps they already know of it and things are under control. And now he's telling us how he realized that it started happening. So he was sitting in his chair and he was flipping through a book on a bus where somebody had left the book on the bus. And he was just flipping through the pages when he came across a reference that kind of told him that, made him realize that Earth has been invaded by aliens. So we were just reaching that statement now. So the first statement was his eyes slowly roved about the room. And this is something that made him tremble because he realized that perhaps this reference is not about not to someone who's not to someone who's a human. It's a non-human that is being written about. And now here is their disguise, however, became transparent in the face of the following observations by the author. It was at once obvious the author knew everything. So the author knew everything and was taking it in his stride. This line, and I tremble remembering it even now, read, his eyes slowly roved about the room. And this is where we've reached now.
Yeah. Chalo, continue.
Do you want to take it, Vaibhav or Tayyab?
नहीं वानी, प्लीज यू कंटिन्यू बिकॉज मेरे को ये बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स लग रही है. मतलब आई एम सो सॉरी बट या आप एक बार कंटिन्यू करो बिकॉज आई हैव जस्ट अ लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस.
I'm also reading it for the first time. I just know, like, I'm just giving you heads up.
बट लाइक मैं थोड़ा स्लो लर्नर हूँ तो
Vague chills assailed me. I tried to picture the eyes. Did they roll like dimes? The passage indicated not. They seemed to move through the air, not over the surface. Rather rapidly, apparently. No one in the story was surprised. That's what tipped me off. No sign of amazement at such an outrageous thing. Later, the matter was amplified. His eyes moved from person to person. So now he's describing the person that he feels. Now he's describing the person that was described, I think, in the earlier sentence. And he's like, this is when he's realizing, he's imagining how that person would be. And he thought, did his eyes like roll like dimes?
Yeah.
But like passage mein, they're just moving through air. Like usually we have a habit of skimming over the surface, etc. But wo kahin air mein hi dekh raha tha.
Yeah.
Not at a particular object or a surface. This is what I feel it says.
Okay.
And the biggest part was that tipped him off was ki puri story mein nobody was surprised. It just seemed like everyone felt it was just normal. And later this line came and he thought that this is just obvious that his eyes moved from person to person. There it was in a nutshell. The eyes had clearly come apart from the rest of him and were on their own. My heart pounded and my breath choked in my windpipe. I had stumbled on an accidental mention of a totally unfamiliar race, obviously non-terrestrial. Yet to the characters in the book, it was perfectly natural, which suggested they belonged to the same species. And the author? A slow suspicion burnt in my mind. The author was taking it rather too easily in his stride. Evidently, he felt this was quite a usual thing. He made absolutely no attempt to conceal this knowledge. The story continued. Presently, his eyes fastened on Julia.
Okay, so I have a lot of bad questions right now because समझ नहीं
Yeah.
आ रहा है. His
Just
कौन
don't.
है? Like ये जो his eyes is it the guy? मतलब ये जो
In the
story,
book.
हाँ, in the book it's the guy.
Yeah. So our narrator has found a book on the bus and he's flipping through the pages that makes it. This is what I felt. Don't put me in a spotlight right now.
नहीं,
But I
I'm
feel
not, like I'm just like, this is Vani's interpretation, guys.
Exactly what it is. Mhm.
Sorry.
yes.
हाँ.
So he's found a book on the bus and he is flipping through the pages, and he's come across a particular set of statements where he feels like this is not something that's very natural for humans. And now this in the italics is he describing is the so the book that he's picked up, the author has described another guy in the book, right? And the italics are those lines about that guy. So now what the narrator feels, let's say he's ABC or X. So what he feels is that the reason how he's describing this guy is not natural. And the fact that everybody in the story just feels it's natural is something that's very unnatural.
So, a very bad question. Again, I'm so sorry, but is the guy he's referring to, the author, is he an alien?
Yeah, this is what this guy feels. This is what the
ठीक है.
narrator
मतलब
feels.
this is what
Yeah.
was in my mind, but I was like, is it so? Like, वो
Yeah.
तो ना बच्चा क्लास में डरा हुआ होता है कि मेरे को तो ये लग रहा है, चलो पूछ ही लेते हैं. चलो. Then I'm following. हाँ जी, continue.
Yeah. So his and the author now he's coming, like he's established the fact that even the characters in the book are indifferent to this unnaturalness of this guy in the story. So all of them must belong to the same species, that is like bahar se aayi hui.
Fair enough.
And now he goes to the author, and the author, a slow suspicion burned in my mind. The author was taking it rather too easily in his stride. Evidently, he felt this was quite a usual thing. He made absolutely no attempt to conceal this knowledge. The story continued. Presently, his eyes fastened on Julia. So we have like a woman has entered now, and uski eyes that were traveling through the air pehle from person to person have now rested on a lady. Julia, being a lady, had at least the breeding to feel indignant. She's described as blushing and knitting her brows angrily. At this, I sighed with relief. They weren't all non terrestrials. The narrative continues. Slowly, calmly, his eyes examined every inch of her. Great Scott! But here the girl turned and stumped off, and the matter ended. I lay back in my chair, gasping with horror. My wife and family regarded me in wonder. What's wrong, my dear? My wife asked. I couldn't tell her. Knowledge like this was too much for the ordinary run-of-the-mill person. I had to keep it to myself. Nothing, I gasped. I leaped up, snatched a book, and hurried out of the room. In the garage, I continued reading. There was more. Trembling, I read the next revealing passage. He put his arm around Julia. Presently, she asked him if he would remove his arm. He immediately did so with a smile. It's not said what was done with the arm after the fellow had removed it. Maybe it was left standing upright in the corner. Maybe it was thrown away. I don't care. In any case, the full meaning was there, staring me right in the face. So are you following abhi tak right now?
नहीं, अभी कंटिन्यू करते हैं. Like, हाँ, please, like, चलो. It's
Cool.
like, yeah.
So, yeah. Here was a race of creatures capable of removing portions of their anatomy at will.
Okay.
Eyes, arms, and maybe more. Without batting an eyelash, my knowledge of biology came in handy. At this point, obviously, there were simple beings, unicellular, some sort of primitive single-cell things being no more developed than starfish. Starfish can do the same thing, you know. I read on and came to this incredible revelation, tossed off coolly by the author without the faintest tremor. Outside the movie theater, we split up. Part of us went inside, part over to the cafe for dinner. It's actually very clever writing if you realize it. I don't know, I'm so sorry. Binary fission, obviously, splitting in half and forming two entities. Probably each lower half went to the cafe, it being father, and the upper halves to the movies. I read on, hands shaking. I had really stumbled onto something there. My mind reeled as I made out this passage. I'm afraid there's no doubt about it. Poor Bibney has lost his head again, which was followed by, and Bob says he has utterly no guts. Yet Bibney got around as well as the next person. The next person, however, was just as strange. He was soon described as totally lacking in brains. There was no doubt of the thing in the next passage. Julia, whom I had thought to be the one normal person, reveals herself as also being an alien life form similar to the rest. Quite deliberately, Julia had given her heart to the young man. It didn't relate what the final disposition of the organ was, but I didn't really care. It was evident Julia had gone right on living in her usual manner, like all the others in the book, without heart, arms, eyes, brains, viscera, dividing up in two when the occasion demanded without a qualm. Thereupon she gave him her hand. I sickened. The rascal now had her hand as well as her heart. I shudder to think what he's done with them by this time. He took her arm. Not content to wait, he had to start dismantling her on his own. Flushing crimson, I slammed the book shut and leaped to my feet, but not in time to escape one last reference to those carefree bits of anatomy whose travels had originally thrown me on the track. Her eyes followed him all the way down the road and across the meadow. I rushed from the garage and back inside the warm house as if the accursed things were following me. My wife and children were playing Monopoly in the kitchen. I joined them and played with frantic fervor, brow feverish, teeth chattering. I had had enough of the thing. I want to hear no more about it. Let them come on, let them invade Earth. I don't want to get mixed up in it. I have absolutely no stomach for it.
कूल सो जो मेरे को मोटा मोटा समझ आया है ये मोटा मोटा है मेरे को पूरा मेरे को बहुत बेसिकली यहाँ पे जो भी लाइक ऐसे हो रहा है कि इफ ही लाइक ऐसे कि ही लाइक गेव हर आर्म सो ये सब लिटरल सेंस में हो रहा है लाइक कि आई थिंक दैट इज व्हाट आई गॉट फ्रॉम इट ना कि लाइक अगर वो शी गेव हिम हर हार्ट तो इट शी लिटरली गेव हिम हर हार्ट हो रहा है राइट समथिंग लाइक दैट
Tayyib, do you want to add to that or
I
like?
would love to, लेकिन मैं ज़्यादा follow कर नहीं पाया मतलब.
So it's all you, Ani. It's all you, Ani.
What I feel is like this is what I feel like. This guy overthought a lot. This was just a normal love story about people, like she gave her heart, and he's just thinking like, how can she give him his heart? Like this guy does not
Very nice
understand.
catch, nice.
Like yeah. So this is yeah. So
So
you
this
wanted
like if we go back to the story, like
yeah.
tell me where you realized he is overthinking because I think it's a very smart thing that you just
Yeah. Yeah. I think I realized it. Wait. Her eyes moved. Niche, like, can you just scroll a little further? Yeah, I realized it here. Just slowly, calmly, his eyes examined every inch of her. This is something like I like realized, but then here is when like वो ट्यूबलाइट जली ऊपर. He put his arm around Julia.
हाँ.
This is like where the tubelight was like blinking very wide.
It's not so it's not said what was done with the arm after the fellow had removed
Yeah.
it. Maybe it was left standing upright.
It's really funny how he's like he
So
put his
this
arm around Julia.
yeah, so but this is a like a very smart take on himself, dude. Matlab,
Yeah.
it's like how we tend to find metaphors at places where they don't even exist.
I mean, even the title of the story is The Eyes Have It. Like, it's just how you choose to see things.
Yeah, and like it was written here, like it is full of idioms and puns. So मतलब ये वही बात हो गई ना जैसे एक quote था, I think we have discussed it before also, कि uh, the author said, ये शायद हेमिंगवे का quote भी है कि if the author said that the curtains are blue, तो उसका टीचर मतलब बताता था curtains represented loneliness, और ये कि वहाँ से जो isolation है उसमें से निकल के moonlight plus ये, but actually what the author meant is the curtains are just fucking blue. तो
I don't think Hemingway said that.
I am pretty sure, like रुको अब तो देखना पड़ेगा
नहीं
क्योंकि
एग्जैक्ट वर्ड्स नहीं थे बट हाँ हेमिंगवे ने ऐसी बात करी थी.
हेमिंगवे ने की है ये.
Yeah. You know, I have read the version of it जहाँ पे they've used the curtains were fucking blue. So I'm not certain if
हाँ.
that version was him.
So because I have mixing two things, but एक तो हेमिंगवे ने like has us to take like this, and there is something about curtains. So ये मेरे को नहीं पता. अच्छा. People are
But he's like taking it literally. He has become Hemingway here,
okay.
the narrator,
Once
because he's taking things literally. Like,
yeah. People are saying कुछ बोलना एक बार.
hi.
हेलो.
हाँ सुनाई दे तो रहा है. नहीं सुनाई. किसी ने लिखा था कि सुनाई नहीं दे रहा. गाइस कैन यू हियर? ऐसे डरा देते हैं यार लोग जब लिखते हैं, फिर लोग बोलते हैं नहीं नहीं सुनाई दे रहा है, सुनाई दे रहा है. ऐसा लगता है पूरी पूरी हमने स्ट्रीम कर ली और बिना उसके कर ली. सो बेसिकली लेट्स जस्ट रीड एवरीथिंग दैट इज रिटन इन इटैलिक्स वंस मोर, क्योंकि मेरे को लगता है कि इट्स वेयर लाइक हिज आईज स्लोली roved about the room. His eyes moved from person.
Can we do one more thing? Like,
Yeah.
while reading this, can we imagine his eyes doing that so we get the narrator's perspective as well?
Got it.
Because I think when I was reading, I was imagining somebody like looking around. So that was like, but he was imagining like eyes popping out and then like,
Got it. Smart. His eyes slowly roved about the room. His eyes moved from person to person. मतलब एक जने से निकल के तैयब में जा रही है.
somebody has commented that they can't see us.
Oh yeah. Smart. Now they'll be able to see us. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see us now? हाँ continue करते हैं. अब देगा या.
Do you want to fill in the people who've just joined?
No, let's let them suffer. क्योंकि ये ऐसी स्टोरी है.
यही नहीं रहा वेवर के बाद कुछ बताने के लिए है
हाँ
ही नहीं.
कुछ है ही नहीं यार इसमें. लाइक मेरे को अब तो जाके स्टोरी समझ आई है. लाइक आफ्टर लाइक वानी एक्सप्लेन्ड इट ट्वाइस. हिज आईज मूव फ्रॉम पर्सन टू पर्सन. तो मतलब उसको पहले लगा कि वानी में गई फिर तैयब में गई, बट लाइक दैट इज वेयर ही वाज ओवरथिंकिंग थिंग्स.
Yeah.
Presently his eyes fastened on Julia. Slowly
Imagine like eyes trying to say.
yeah. Slowly,
Julia.
calmly, his eyes examined every inch of her. Nice. He put his arm around Julia. Presently, she asked him if he would remove his arm. He immediately did so with a smile. Now that I think of it, oh shit. Outside the movie theater, we split up. Part of us went inside, part over to the cafe for dinner. And he's like binary fission, obviously. This was like very, very good. Splitting it half and forming two entities, probably each lower half.
And he's so proud of his knowledge of science. Like,
yeah.
I know something about it. Unicellular, single cell cells, binary fission.
Yeah, probably each lower half went to the cafe, it being father, the upper halves into the movies. I read on handshaking. I am afraid there is no doubt about it. Poor Bibney has lost his head again, which is followed by, and Bob says he has utterly no guts. Totally lacking in brains. There was no doubt of one thing in the next passage. Julia, whom I had thought to be a normal person, reveals herself also being an alien form, similar to the rest. Quite deliberately, Julia had given her heart to the young man. Very nice. Thereupon she gave him her hand. He took her arm. Her eyes followed him all the way down the road across the meadow. So last में क्या होता है? I had enough of the thing. I want to hear no more about it. Let them come on. Let them invade it. I don't want to get mixed up in it. I have absolutely no stomach for it.
Before this, he goes inside. He leaves the garage and he goes inside and plays Monopoly with his wife and kids.
Okay, so I rushed from the garage back inside the warm house as if the accursed things were following me. My wife and children are playing Monopoly in the kitchen. I joined them and played with frantic fervor. Brown feverish teeth chattering. Nice. दिस इज सच अ ग्रेट टेक ऑन योरसेल्फ ना, मतलब कि आप दिखा रहे हो, क्योंकि वो ये कि सौरभ इज आस्किंग वानी व्हाई वाज द लाइन स्मार्टली रिटन पार्ट वाला पार्ट, which
What?
part is it? Like there is a comment which I did not. I'm not understanding anything. I'm not even understanding the YouTube comments now. क्या कहना क्या चाहते हो सौरभ भाई, हमें बात समझ नहीं आई आपकी। अब तैयब तेरा क्या टेक है इस पे, अब तैयब तू बता।
मैं थोड़ा सौरभ के साथ जाता हूँ इसके अंदर।
हाँ। अरे स्काई बॉट पेड अस $20 यार, थैंक यू स्काई बॉट। आपकी प्रोफाइल पिक्चर बहुत अच्छी है, उसने एक एस्ट्रोनॉट की प्रोफाइल पिक्चर लगाई हुई है। गाइज आप लोग भी पैसे दे सकते हैं हमें, एंड हम बहुत अप्रिशिएट करेंगे, हम शाउट आउट देंगे आपको। कन्वर्सिंग सिंह हैपेंस इफ यू स्मोक ग्रास। ओ शिट।
What is your take, Tayyab?
तैयब का
मुझे
ब्लफ
कुछ
पकड़ में आ
समझ में नहीं
जाएगा,
आ रहा।
तैयब का ब्लफ पकड़ में आ जाएगा। वो कह रहा है इतना लोग मेरे को समझते हो प्रोफेसर टाइप को।
नहीं, मैंने एक्चुअली इसकी एक लाइन भी ढंग से नहीं पढ़ पाया, क्योंकि जब वानी रीड कर रही थी तो मेरे कमरे में मेरी बिल्ली जो
हाँ
है वो
यही होता है भाई, यही होता है,
खड़बूल
बिल्ली
मचा
मेरे
रही
भी
थी।
यहाँ कुत्ते
नहीं नहीं,
बिल्लियाँ।
सीरियसली आई वांटेड टू, बट
तो
वो
हमने वापस पढ़ी
कंसंट्रेशन
ना,
बन ही नहीं
पहली
पा रहा था।
पहली बारी तो मेरे को भी नहीं आई, बट मैंने कोशिश की ना। लाइक आई सेड आई एम अ स्लो लर्नर बट आई ऑलवेज लर्न डू।
मैंने साथ ही साथ इसकी समरी खोलने की कोशिश करी, मैंने ऊपर की लाइंस पढ़ने की कोशिश करी, बट मैं फॉलो ही नहीं कर पाया। मे बी आई नीड मोर टाइम।
नहीं नहीं, और टाइम नहीं है गाइस, अब लोग पैसे वैसे दे रहे हैं और वो सोच रहे हैं कि बताएंगे क्या कर रहे हैं। हम बोल रहे हैं हमने जो स्टोरी पढ़ी वो समझ नहीं आई। ठीक है, सो लेट्स
If
रीड।
Vani could summarize it in like 10 lines, what is this
आई
story?
विल समराइज इट नाउ बाबा, अब मेरे को आ गया। वानी,
Please do.
व्हाई शुड वानी डू ऑल द मेहनत।
हाँ, please do.
So basically, Philip K. Dick, as we all know, वो sci-fi novels or sci-fi short stories लिखते हैं, which are like extremely complex. Here he has written a story where he's showing the perspective of a person who is overthinking the sci-fi-ness of something. वो बेसिकली
Okay.
एक बस में उसने एक किताब खोली और एक नॉर्मल सी लव स्टोरी है, मतलब लैला मजनू की लव स्टोरी है, बट ऐसे अगर लिखा है कि मतलब तुमने मेरा दिल जीत लिया है, समथिंग लाइक दैट, कि मैं तुम्हें सब कुछ देना चाहता हूँ, तो उन्हें
मैं तुम्हें अपना
लिटरली
दिल देता हूँ।
मैं तुम्हें
Oh,
अपना दिल देता हूँ, तो उसको लग रहा है दीज आर एलियंस जो एक दूसरे को अपना दिल देते हैं। वो एंड अगर जैसे देयर इज अ लाइन इन द स्टोरी जो हमारा वो बंदा पढ़ रहा है बस में, कि उसने अपना आर्म रखा उसके साथ ऊपर, तो उसको लग रहा है उसने अपना इंडिविजुअली एक आर्म एज अ सेपरेट एंटिटी रखा। फिर
okay.
ऐसे एक लाइन है कि then we split up and some of us went to there and some of us went to there, तो उसको लगा ओ बाइनरी फिजन। तो बाइनरी फिजन कहाँ से आ गया? मतलब that was like,
Overthinking. So
हाँ,
basically,
he's just overthinking everything. The greatest part is that he's like binary fission, obviously. Like I like how he is written, obviously. Now the greatest part is that Philip K. Dick himself is such a great writer, and उसको पता होगा कि कभी कभी लोगों को उसकी स्टोरी समझ नहीं आती, so it's a good like someone had written before we started reading, it's a good satire on yourself कि
Yeah.
मतलब आप खुद के ही मजे ले रहे हो कि यार मैंने मतलब लाइक मैं जैसा लिखता हूँ, कभी कभी हम ऐसे बोलते हैं ना कि Ranjish Saha has commented the stories about how
Yeah.
mainstream English novels uses metaphors, but it becomes literal when used in a science fiction. The title is The Eyes Have It. You may have heard it in Parliament. Means yes. I did Parliament.
The
में
the
eyes
eyes
have it.
have it.
A
Yes.
by E.
Oh, yeah. Those you who say I वाला AY, nice. हाँ, काफी सही.
Yeah, but
Okay.
this is like really cool.
So Philip K.
And
Dick के का और क्या क्या यहाँ पे देखते हैं?
this has to be one of my
Yeah,
favorite
he's so smart.
short stories we've read so far.
हाँ, this is so good. Yeah,
It's
he's
so good.
yeah, and he's तेरे को पता था
I
ये
mean,
he's
like
all
one of the best old school sci-fi movies. सबने नाम सुना है, Blade Runner.
हाँ
Obviously.
he's the yeah.
बंदे ने how do androids dream of electric sheep वो लिखी थी, उससे
हाँ
इंस्पायर्ड पूरी मूवी बनी है.
yeah. Total Recall, a Scanner Darkly, Blade Runner,
Total Recall, yeah.
Minority Report. Scanner Darkly जिसकी रिचर्ड लिंकलेटर है.
Scanner Darkly, beautiful story.
Yeah. So these are like all the short stories by him क्या? Yeah, I think so. हमें एक और मिल गया वानी, दैट द लास्ट मोमेंट जब हमें पता नहीं होता कि क्या डिस्कस करने वाला है. like इसको
We can
bookmark.
just come.
हाँ, we can always go back to Philip K. Dick.
Yeah.
So ये जिए हैं भाई साहब 1928 से 1982, an underrated master of science fiction, dystopian stories. Nice. Dick reflected in my writing. I even question the universe. I wonder out loud if it is real, and I wonder out loud if all of us are real. Nice. ये सब कौन है? ये बताओ,
Who's
like ये तो
that?
मार्क ट्वेन टाइप लग रहा है कोई. हाँ ये मार्क
That's
ट्वेन
Edgar
है.
Allan.
Yeah.
That's Edgar Allan
Yeah,
Poe,
that is
that's
Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah, और मैं बताता हूँ और गेस करते हैं.
Don't do that.
Yeah, Vani, let's do it. नहीं नहीं.
चार्ल्स डिकेंस दिख रहा है मेरे को आगे से.
अरे मैंने जूम किया और गायब ही हो गए सब के सब. हाँ, चार्ल्स डिकेंस कौन सा है? ये तो मेरे जैसा लग रहा है ब्रो. पहला वाला
सेंटर में जो था.
सेंटर वाला मार्क ट्वेन है ब्रो.
मार्क ट्वेन.
हाँ, ये तो हमारी वो लग रही है. ये कौन है वानी? लाइक गेस गेस गेस. वो नहीं नहीं है. वर्जीनिया वुल्फ तो नहीं लगी.
No, this is not Virginia Woolf.
This is. और ये कौन है भाई साहब हमारे? चलो अब नाम देखते हैं. लाइक so this is okay.
Benjamin. What?
No, you like some Norwegian guy who won a Nobel Prize in Literature. नाम आप लोग देख लीजिए. This is Kate Chopling. This is Stephen Leacock. This is Herman Melville. Yeah, this is Mary Eve Wilkins Freeman. हमारे ये दो आते थे हमें. This is Susan Glaspell. This is Nathaniel Hawthorne. This is Anton Chekhov. इसकी भी बहुत सही होती है शॉर्ट स्टोरीज. लाइक इसकी काफी तगड़ी है.
Ivanov.
इसकी देखो.
I've heard a lot about Ivanov.
इसने कितनी शॉर्ट स्टोरीज लिखी है. ए से इतनी सारी हैं. Oh shit. This is so good. And he's considered to be one of the greatest short story writers. और किस ऑथर को ढूंढने हम यहाँ पे? लाइक आई लव दिस वेबसाइट अमेरिकन लिटरेचर.
इसमें असीमोव की शॉर्ट स्टोरी मिलेगी.
हाँ ढूंढते हैं ना. असी क्या स्पेलिंग है?
ASIMOV.
डबल ऐसा पक्का?
आई होप.
हाँ सिंगल ऐसा. आइजैक असीमोव. 1920 to 1992.
स्टोरी है. इसका नाम है द लास्ट क्वेश्चन.
इसकी शॉर्ट स्टोरीज दिखा नहीं रहा यहाँ पे. बस इसकी एक बुक दिखा रहा है, यूथ. द लास्ट क्वेश्चन लिखे. ठीक है. और पोइट्री चिल्ड्रन में क्या है इनके पास?
Children.
द टेल ऑफ पीटर रैबिट. ललेबाइज. Yeah. Please enjoy these traditional lullabies, also known as cradle or sleep songs from around the world. Rock by Baby.
I used to love this one, Rock by Baby. What was your favorite lullaby as a child? Like, it was actually nursery rhyme.
So I know one, like it is like बहुत ऐसे complex, like it's called la 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 lori दूध की कटोरी.
No, what's your even like a nursery rhyme? What's your favorite nursery rhyme?
Jack and Jill went up to the hill. और वो आगे
Is that the only one you remember?
नहीं, उसके आगे जो गुलाल का डायलॉग आता है. Do you remember? Okay, मेरे कमेंट्स बंद हो गए थे. हाँ सॉरी. हाँ तो नहीं, that's the only one I remember. और क्या? अमेरिकन ललेबाई, ब्रिटिश ललेबाई, चाइनीज ललेबाई. इंडियन है क्या? इंडियन. डच ललेबाई, फ्रेंच ललेबाई.
No.
But this is so good. Like I like the paintings and the posters and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so cool. Portuguese, Scottish, Spanish. Bye baby bye lullaby. हाँ तो तुम बताओ ना वानी. You are acting like आपको.
No. I was just asking. I want to ask the yes as well.
नहीं, now we are asking.
No,
आपकी कौन सी favorite lullaby?
कोई नहीं बताएगा तीनों.
What was your favorite nursery rhyme? Take up.
मतलब favorite तो I don't remember But the one that I do remember is Baba Black Sheep.
हाँ Baba Black Sheep.
Yeah.
Vani, your turn. Like impress us. Tell us.
No, I mean I remember nursery rhymes, but no.
अरे
I
तुमने
had like
हमसे पूछ
piggy
लिया और
on
खुद
the
नहीं बता रहे.
there was this one piggy on the railway line picking up some stones. So when I was 3, my parents visited Solan, Shimla, and there was like this railway station, and the pig is picking up stones on a railway line, and the train breaks its bone. So I enacted out the entire rhyme.
हाँ.
Or yeah, that's my favorite rhyme, but yeah.
Okay. और आर्य आई है. Skybot is saying rain rain go away. Do you remember rain
Oh
rain
yeah.
go away?
Rain, rain, go away, come again some other.
Johnny Johnny yes पापा. Okay. So Rockabye Baby के बारे में थोड़ा बताओ क्या स्टोरी है उसकी?
I have a book that's about nursery rhymes and their
No
dark
no no no.
stories.
Let's read this, Vani. Over to
But-
you. Let's read this and we'll deconstruct this.
Ooh, rock-a-bye baby in the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bow breaks, the cradle will fall. Down will come baby, cradle and all.
थोड़ी horror type लग रही है मेरे को.
But it's like, I remember how the tone goes, and it's a really nice like lullaby that way.
You
But
can
yeah,
like
now-
yeah like we can make it into Indian Idol. Come on, Vani. Like, yeah.
We can play it on YouTube.
No. Like, did you watch the first season of Indian Idol? Amit Sana versus Abhijit Sawant. Do you remember? तो ये basically
बहुत ज्यादा साल पहले की बात कर रहा हूँ.
अमित साना याद है सब चाहते थे अमित साना जीते और
बहुत ज्यादा.
उसने कुछ तो बहुत सही गाना गाया था और वो जीता नहीं था.
I remember I was in class 4 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
इतनी पुरानी बात है. And one is saying कि Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I don't remember any lullabies, but my favorite lullaby singer is Eminem. Nice one, nice one.
Oh, Little Miss Muffet sat on a buff tuffet.
हाँ.
Yeah.
Let's look for famous.
हमारा स्टैंडर्ड बहुत जल्दी गिरता है डिस्कशन.
मैंने all तैयब का वीडियो चलाया 30 best lullabies for babies.
And let's calculate how many we know.
Cool.
ठीक है. Tayyab is gone.
Tayyab doesn't want to be a part of this. Okay, so number 30 is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
I'll make a score for myself.
Okay, so I am at okay. I am
Cool.
at
I'm adding for both of us.
so I add this for everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
So I'd like to recommend one author जिसकी मेरे को short stories बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद आई है. मतलब particularly short story के नाम मेरे को वही दिमाग में आता है.
Tayyab is like कि मैं इस चीज के लिए नहीं आया था. Let me act smart.
तो मुझे कुछ ना कुछ तो ऐड करना दो एटलीस्ट. मैं 15-20 मिनट से चुपचाप बैठा हूँ मेरे को. ठीक है. तो मैंने वीडियो पॉज करके आई फाउंड द बुक फाइनली. और
let one second. Let me put a spotlight on you. One second.
अच्छा. I still don't understand what does this mean.
Spotlight
It's-
mean कि तेरे घर का end to end हम देख पाएंगे. हाँ.
Yeah.
अच्छा. So there is this author called Jeffrey Archer. ठीक है.
Yeah.
और मेरे पास 2-3 बुक्स हैं और जो मैंने एक पढ़ी है पूरी तरीके से वो थी And Thereby Hangs a Tale.
Yeah,
Or
I've read it as well.
हाँ. इसकी from the starting like from the first story itself, it gets you in actually. मतलब और it's like 18 pages, 15 pages, 7 pages long book.
Cover तो दिखाओ.
अच्छा. मतलब थोड़ा flipped होगा शायद